Hello, welcome back. So I want to start today by going over the survey results that you did on the previous homework. This is something I try to do periodically through the course just to make sure that we're on the same page. I'm understanding what you like, what you don't like, and try to tailor the course more closely to your needs. And then after that, the rest of our lecture, we're going to go back into the 2D. We're going to review the 2D constant strain triangle. We're going to go deeper and cover the topic of how do you plot strain and how do you get strain for the 2D triangle, and then apply that to a problem. So to start with the survey results, these are actually exactly what the questions were that I got from that Google form. All of the responses were anonymous, so I don't know who said what. So the first question was, I try to make this course an equal mix of theory and application. Would you agree there's a good balance? And this is really important to me. So if you remember, the two objectives I have in the class really are to be able to create a model, any problem I give you, and you do a pretty good job of creating that model in Abacus, but then be able to describe a little bit about the background theory. So we're well on our way on Abacus. I think we have a lot of course to go, but we've covered static, we've now in dynamic, and we've covered a lot of the techniques there. We have a little bit of time left actually to get the rest of that, and I have full confidence by the end of the semester that you're going to be very, very good at Abacus, very comfortable with that. And so we're just working on the theory slowly as we go through it. So most people agree that there is a good balance, 78%. There are some folks that are still giving me as an instructor, or the balance is, actually it's probably close to 25% of the course class actually thinks that's not a good balance. So that's actually concerning to me. I want to try to dig deeper into what those numbers are and why they're like that. See if I can convert those 5 folks there over to the A category. That's my goal, is to provide a really, really good course for you. Are the lectures presented clearly and are they helpful? Again, a little lower here. People are not necessarily agreeing with that. Over a quarter of the class thinks they are not clear, and so there's definitely some work to do on that. So yeah, I'm looking for ideas and techniques that I can help to make that a little better for you as we go forward. So these are some of the ideas that people thought of to address some of those issues. The first one says, out of habit, I don't mark either extremes. I've heard automated survey checkers throughout those. Okay, yeah, so I use these numbers are the same numbers that SRTE uses, and that scale is important because that's how I'm graded by the department. So, I'm trying to figure out where I sit in that spectrum, and we assign that letter grade because it's a little bit easier to think about grades. Just like you're earning a grade in this class, I'm earning a grade in this class also according to you. So I'm trying to work for that A from you. So these aren't really extremes. They're more like letter scales. Is the scale that I've assigned a scale that we typically use in an A, B, C, D kind of range. Some of the lectures could be shorter. This is actually a really good point. And then as I started to transition more to remote learning and all this kind of stuff, online learning, I think that that is true, that the lectures could be shorter. I've heard that a lot of something I've interviewed a couple of different faculty members, and they go from 20 to 25 minutes is the longest lecture they provide. I guess when I think about that from a consumer, I have kind of a worry. And I look at you're here for a product, you're buying a product, that's education, and if I give you a 25-minute lecture, we're going to cover less material, and you're not going to get your money's worth, I feel like. So I guess I'm kind of like mixed on that topic, whether to go shorter, which might be clearer, might be better to watch, but you might not get as much, or is there a happy medium where I can somehow cram, 50 minutes is the typical price. It's basically what you're paying for 3 times a week. So 50-minute lecture into 25 minutes. Can I do that and be effective? That's something I'm struggling with. So I don't have an answer for that right now. One of the nice things is with these YouTube videos is, you can fast forward, you can stop, you can pause, you can go back and rewatch. You have the control over that. I was playing around with a little software in a couple classes ago, where it actually has quizzes embedded in there. And I actually didn't get great response from that. Students felt like I was like watching them or trying to check up on them and forcing them to watch the videos. Some people might not want to watch the videos. They might be following along in a textbook and trying to work out and then only go to the videos when they need them. I mean, I want to give flexibility where I can. And so, and I want to give detail, as much detail. So you're paying for 50 minutes of my time in a lecture. That's the way I look at it. And I'm going to try to deliver that to you. If I can make that shorter somehow, I have to think about it. So I guess there's being clear up on the lesson that we're going to get out of the lesson. So maybe objectives up front. I try to do that sometimes, but maybe I forget in some cases. And I also try to do that in the video. So each one has a sort of subtopic, and I try to put a major topic at the end of each video section and each lecture module. So that's how I try to achieve that, but maybe I could be a little bit more clear about that, and I'll do that. More interaction with visual aids. So this student's basically talking about when sometimes I'm talking, I do simple drawing in front of us, maybe with the mouse or something like that, but they think that maybe a visual representation of that information would be a lot better. Highlighting, drawing on the screen, and expanding the graphics. I think that's a great idea. I try to do that as much as I can. And that's why actually sometimes, especially in this current stuff, when things get deep mathematically, I tend to switch to writing it out. So instead of just flashing slides and sort of boring you to death with PowerPoint, I'd rather you actually write and at least follow along. When we write these things down, they somehow connect with our brain a little bit better. And so I urge you to, as I'm going through this, I always provide a redacted or a full lecture. Use that redacted and actually write the notes down as I'm going along to that. And that's one thing I can recommend. I think would be a helpful learning technique, but I'll also think about how to add more visual aids. Challenging to look back through slides and referencing them in homework. So there is, this comes up occasionally from various students. Some have suggested that I actually collect all my lecture slides together and put them in a big packet. It's a little challenging. I'm tweaking a lot of stuff, PowerPoint changed their aspect ratio, so I'm redoing all of these slides this time. That's been challenging. And so I can't like combine everything. I give you an old version, but then there's like stuff that's irrelevant or I've changed it. So it really needs to be up to date. So that's a bit of a challenge, but I think that would work. So I'm trying to get that to that equilibrated state in my content where I can give a PDF and you would just be able to use that directly. So definitely great topics. So far, overall opinion of the course, right now I have a B or an A, and I appreciate that. I'm really honored and I'm privileged to be able to teach you this class. It's my favorite topic of all time. It's my passion, and I hope that that kind of rubs off on my teaching. And I am really humbled to teach you, and I appreciate any way. As engineers, we're always trying to get better. So any way that I can get those two people, over, what is it that you're missing? You're just not getting. Shoot me an email, and I'll do everything I can to adapt the course for you. And the instructor, this kind of goes along with the same comment. I want to try to, I want to make this the best class you ever had. I mean, that's my ultimate goal. Best class, best instructor, whatever it is. You're going to walk out of here, you're feeling you got a great class and you had a great instructor. That's what I want this to be. So any feedback along those lines is great. Open improvements. The two major things on here, some positive feedback, but also some suggestions is the courses, really the two ones I found with the course is moving slowly, so more content to be covered. That's some really good feedback. This is the only one person, I only got that one comment. So if you're feeling like that, maybe shoot me an email also. I can definitely speed it up. I typically kind of go slower on the fundamental stuff like we're doing now. Like once after 2D, we really go pretty quickly on some stuff. But what we're learning here in the fundamental theory, I really wanted you to get that. But we can go faster. The other thing is about the assignment dates. That has been tricky. Canvas really messed it up when I pulled in some of my old stuff, like it shifted the dates, and I guess we were shifted from last year. So I've been really struggling with the due dates thing. I'm trying to get that all worked out, and I think for the most part, it's pretty good now. But it's always 2 dates. 2 weeks is when I do the due date, and there aren't necessarily hard due dates. So if you miss it, you get busy, you're on vacation, I understand that. The system automatically gives a 0 after that due date, but when I come back in and I grade, I don't pay attention to that due date. I just grade it, and so a couple of students have mentioned that. But I just the 2 weeks after I put the homework out there or assignment or whatever it is, that 2 weeks is a guideline to keep the course organized and keep it moving forward. We build on the topics as we go forward, so I don't want you to get like all kind of clogged up and be not understanding stuff currently because we didn't do the stuff before. So that's why those guidelines and due dates are there. Okay, so that's the survey. Like again, I really appreciate your feedback. I'm going to try to take these comments. If you have any follow-up things, go ahead and shoot me an email or whatever, and let me know your thoughts. And I'm going to try to make some of these adjustments and see if we can do a little better. So let's now get back to the theory and talk about that constant strain triangle.